I thought I had it all figured out. My name is Emma Chen, and 3 years ago, I married Marcus, the kind of man every woman dreams about. Successful architect, gorgeous smile, completely devoted to me. We had the brownstone in the city, the European vacations, the life everyone envied. You literally won the lottery, Jessica said over brunch one afternoon, sipping her mimosa. Marcus is perfect. I know, I replied, but something felt hollow in my chest even as I said it. The truth was, perfection had become suffocating. Marcus worked 60-hour weeks at his architecture firm. I filled my empty days with yoga classes, shopping, and endless brunches. I had everything, but I felt restless, bored, hungry for something I couldn't name. That's when Ryan started showing up more often. Marcus's best friend since college, spontaneous, flirtatious, dangerous in all the ways Marcus wasn't. He'd drop by when Marcus worked late, and we'd share wine on the couch. You seem lonely, Ryan said one evening, his eyes lingering on me a little too long. I'm fine, I lied, refilling my glass. Marcus is just busy. Too busy for his beautiful wife? Ryan leaned closer. If you were mine, I'd never leave you alone. I should have told him to leave. I should have called Jessica. I should have done anything except what I did, which was laugh, pour more wine, and let that electric tension build between us. Ryan has a reputation, Jessica warned me the next week. He's trouble, Emma. Stay away from him. Don't be ridiculous, I said, waving her off. He's Marcus's friend. It's harmless. God, I was so stupid. New Year's Eve changed everything. Tom Henderson threw one of his massive parties, the kind where champagne flows like water and inhibitions dissolve by midnight. Marcus texted me at 11:30. Sorry, babe. Still at the office. This project is killing me. Have fun without me. I stared at that message, anger burning in my chest. Another missed event. Another night alone while he chose work over me. He ditched you again? Ryan appeared beside me, 2 champagne flutes in his hands. That's the 3rd party this month. He's working, I said defensively, but I took the champagne anyway. He's always working. Ryan clinked his glass against mine. You look like you need more fun in your life, Emma. Jessica was there too, along with Ryan's girlfriend, Sarah, sweet kindergarten teacher Sarah who smiled at everyone and held Ryan's hand like he was her whole world. If only she'd known what kind of man she was holding on to. Sometime after midnight, after too much champagne and too much anger, we ended up playing Truth or Dare. Childish, I know. But I was drunk and hurt and reckless. I bet you wouldn't do something truly spontaneous, Ryan said, his eyes locked on mine. I bet you're too scared to really live. What's the wager? The words left my mouth before my brain could stop them. If I win, you owe me one night of complete honesty. No filters, no marriage rules. Jessica grabbed my arm hard. Emma, don't. This is a bad idea. But pride and alcohol and anger at Marcus's empty spot beside me made me stupid. And if I win? I'll admit you're too good for Marcus and leave you alone forever, Ryan said smoothly. The bet was ridiculous. Who could hold their breath longer underwater in Tom's pool? I lost within 45 seconds, coming up gasping and dizzy. Ryan pulled me close, water dripping from both of us. I win, he whispered. Pay up. 20 minutes later, I was in one of Tom's guest rooms, Ryan's mouth on mine, my wedding ring catching the light as I pulled his shirt off. It happened fast, messy, meaningless, over almost before it began. When it was done, I felt nothing except the crushing weight of what I'd just destroyed. I woke at 4 a.m. on Tom's couch, my head pounding like a drum. Ryan was gone. My clothes were scattered across the floor and reality crashed into me like a freight train. What have I done? I drove home with shaking hands, the streets empty and dark. Marcus was asleep in our bed, his phone showing 3 missed calls to me. The guilt was suffocating, choking me. I stood in the shower for 40 minutes, scrubbing my skin until it was raw, as if I could wash away my betrayal. The hot water ran cold, but I couldn't stop scrubbing. Marcus woke up and found me in the bathroom, wrapped in a towel, eyes red. Hey, you okay? He kissed my forehead. How was the party? Fine, I whispered, unable to meet his eyes. It was fine. I'm sorry I missed it. I'll make it up to you, I promise. His arms wrapped around me, warm and safe and completely undeserving of what I'd done. That made everything worse. Over the next few days, I convinced myself no one would ever know. Ryan came by for basketball with Marcus 3 days later, and we barely looked at each other. Jessica called me 8 times. I ignored every call. If I just stay quiet, I can bury this. It was one mistake. One stupid, drunken mistake. But I didn't know about Tom's security cameras. I didn't know his wife had been suspicious of Ryan for months. I didn't know she'd checked the footage and found exactly what she was looking for. 2 weeks passed. I'd almost convinced myself I'd gotten away with it. Then Marcus came home early on a Tuesday afternoon. The front door didn't close. It slammed. The sound echoed through our house like a gunshot. I was in the kitchen chopping vegetables when Marcus walked in holding his tablet. His face was completely blank, cold in a way I'd never seen before. How long? His voice was barely above a whisper. How long what? I tried, my heart hammering against my ribs. He turned the tablet toward me. The video played silently, me and Ryan stumbling into that guest room, my hand on his chest, his lips on my neck, the door closing behind us. My entire world shattered in that moment. Tom's wife sent this to me this morning, Marcus said, his voice deadly calm. She thought I deserved to know what kind of wife I have. Marcus, please. I reached for him, tears already streaming down my face. Don't. He stepped back like I was diseased. Don't touch me. Don't you dare touch me. It was a mistake. A stupid bet. I was drunk. I was angry you weren't there. So this is my fault? He laughed and the sound was horrible, bitter and broken. I was working to pay for this house, for our life, for everything you wanted, and you blame me? No, I wasn't thinking. You weren't thinking? His voice rose for the first time in our entire marriage. You slept with my best friend, Emma, my best friend. You betrayed 3 years of marriage for what? A drunken hookup? Marcus, please let me explain. Explain what exactly? He pulled out his phone, and I watched in horror as he made a call right in front of me. David, it's Marcus Chen. I need a divorce lawyer. The best you have. Price doesn't matter. No, no, no. I grabbed his arm, sobbing. Marcus, please, we can work through this. There's nothing to work through. He shook me off and headed upstairs. I want you out of my house. Our house. My house, he corrected coldly. The house I bought before we got married. The house that's in my name only. You have nothing, Emma. You are nothing. I collapsed on the kitchen floor as his footsteps pounded overhead, each one driving home the truth. My perfect life was over. Marcus moved out that night to his mother Victoria's house. I called him 17 times. He didn't answer once. Jessica came over the next morning and found me in the same clothes, surrounded by empty wine bottles. Emma, oh God. She wrapped her arms around me. I'm so sorry. How did everyone find out? I asked through tears. Tom's wife sent the video to Marcus, but she also told Sarah. Jessica's voice was gentle but firm. Sarah confronted Ryan yesterday. They broke up. Good, I said bitterly. He deserves that. Emma. Jessica hesitated. Ryan told everyone it was your idea. That you seduced him. My blood ran cold. He's lying. He made the bet. He initiated everything. It doesn't matter, Jessica interrupted. Everyone's choosing sides. And Emma, they're not choosing yours. She was right. Within 48 hours, I was a ghost. Friends stopped responding to texts. I was removed from our couple's group chat. My phone stayed silent except for one call. My sister, Rebecca. Mom and Dad know, Rebecca said, her voice heavy with disappointment. Dad's really upset, Emma. He loved Marcus like a son. I know, I whispered. I messed up so badly. Yeah, you did. The line went dead. 3 days after Marcus left, a courier delivered divorce papers. Marcus was citing adultery, and his lawyer, David Rothstein, apparently famous for destroying unfaithful spouses, demanded I vacate the house within 30 days, the house Marcus had bought before our marriage. The house that was legally only his, I had nothing. No job, no savings of my own, and soon nowhere to live. David Rothstein was a machine designed to destroy me. Every meeting with my underpaid legal aid lawyer ended the same way. I had no leverage. The prenup I'd signed without reading carefully gave me almost nothing. Marcus had documentation of every deposit into our joint account. His money, not mine. I'd contributed nothing financial to the marriage. In court, David painted me as a gold digger and adulterer who'd betrayed a hardworking man. He presented the video, phone records showing Jessica's ignored warnings, and testimony from friends about my extravagant lifestyle. I sat there, humiliated, as my life was dissected publicly. Marcus never looked at me once, but while I was falling, Ryan was crashing even harder. Sarah didn't just leave him, she told everyone what he'd done. His reputation as a real estate agent was destroyed overnight. Clients canceled contracts. His firm put him on administrative leave. I saw him once outside the courthouse and he looked terrible. Unshaven, eyes bloodshot. "This is your fault," he hissed, grabbing my arm. "You should have kept your mouth shut." "I didn't tell anyone." I yanked free. "You did this to yourself. We both did this. But you're the married one. You had more to lose." His eyes were wild, desperate. "You destroyed my life." "I destroyed mine too," I said quietly. Security pulled him away, but his words haunted me. He was right. I'd had everything and gambled it away for nothing. That evening, my father called. "Emma, I'm cutting you off financially until you get your life together," he said, his voice heavy with shame. "Your mother can't even face our friends. What you did reflects on all of us. Dad, please get a job. Find an apartment. Grow up." The line went dead. I was truly alone. 4 months after Marcus left, Jessica reluctantly told me what I'd been dreading. "He's seeing someone," she said quietly over coffee. "Olivia Martinez from his firm. They've been spotted together. Olivia." I knew her vaguely. Talented architect, beautiful, accomplished. Everything I wasn't. I'd spent 4 months in a studio apartment I could barely afford, working retail because no one would hire me without recent work experience. Meanwhile, Marcus was moving on with someone who deserved him. I made the mistake of looking at his social media. There they were, Marcus and Olivia at an art gallery opening, looking happy and natural together. His smile was genuine in a way I hadn't seen in months before our divorce. The comments were full of support. "You deserve happiness, Marcus. She's perfect for you. Finally, someone who appreciates you." That last comment gutted me. Because it was true. I hadn't appreciated him. I'd taken him for granted and thrown him away for a meaningless hookup. I saw Victoria Chen, Marcus's mother, at a grocery store one afternoon. "Victoria." "Hi." I started. She looked right through me as if I didn't exist and walked past without a word. That hurt more than I expected. Ryan wasn't doing much better. I heard through mutual friends that he'd moved back to his hometown, unable to find work in the city. His lies about the affair had been exposed when the full video footage surfaced, showing him initiating everything. Now neither of us had anyone's sympathy. We'd destroyed our own lives, and everyone was watching us burn. 6 months post-divorce, I finally started therapy. Linda Ross was the first person who didn't judge me immediately. "Why did you do it?" she asked during our 3rd session. I'd been asking myself that for months. I was bored, entitled. I didn't appreciate what I had until it was gone. I blamed Marcus for working too much, but really, I was just selfish. I wanted excitement without consequences. And now? Now I'm living the consequences, I said, looking at my chipped nail polish and discount store clothes. I lost everything. My husband, my home, my friends, my family's respect. And the worst part? I deserve all of it, Linda leaned forward. What are you going to do about it? That question changed something in me. I couldn't change what I'd done, but I could stop pretending I was a victim. I started volunteering at a women's shelter, helping others instead of obsessing over my lost luxury. I took online classes to build actual job skills. I called Rebecca and apologized without expecting forgiveness. She cried on the phone. "I miss my sister. But I'm so disappointed in who you became." "I know," I replied. "I'm disappointed in me too. But I'm trying to be better." "That's all I can ask," she said softly. It wasn't redemption. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it was something. A year after that terrible New Year's Eve, I ran into Marcus at a coffee shop. He was with Olivia and they were laughing about something. I almost left, but he saw me. For a moment, we just looked at each other. 2 people who'd once shared everything, now strangers. Then he nodded. Not warm, not cold, just acknowledging I existed. It wasn't forgiveness. But it wasn't hatred either. And somehow, that was enough for me to keep moving forward. People always want stories like mine to end with complete redemption or total destruction. My reality was neither. I didn't get my life back, but I didn't completely fall apart either. I existed in the uncomfortable middle ground where consequences live. Jessica slowly started meeting me for coffee again, though our friendship would never be the same. She got engaged and didn't ask me to be a bridesmaid. That hurt, but I understood. I'm happy for you, I told her, and I meant it. Thanks, Emma. She squeezed my hand. You're getting better. I can see it. Rebecca introduced me to her boyfriend and invited me to family dinners occasionally. Mom still barely spoke to me, but Dad agreed to have lunch once a month. You're doing good work at that shelter, he said during one lunch. I'm proud of that. Coming from him, those words meant everything. I got promoted at the retail store to assistant manager. It wasn't glamorous, but it was honest work I'd earned myself. My studio apartment was small, but mine, paid for with money I'd made, not money I'd married into. Some nights I still cried about everything I'd lost. I'd see couples in the park and remember what I'd had with Marcus. I'd pass the brownstone we'd lived in and feel physical pain, but I was learning to sit with that pain instead of running from it. Ryan reached out once via text. Do you ever regret it? I thought about not responding, but finally wrote back, every single day. You? He never replied. I heard later he'd gotten engaged to someone in his hometown, someone who didn't know about his past. I hoped, for both their sakes, he'd learned something. As for me, I was learning that some mistakes don't get fixed. They just become part of your story. The woman who'd been so bored in her perfect life was gone. In her place was someone harder, sadder, but maybe more real. If you're reading this hoping I got my husband back or found some perfect new love, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Real life doesn't work that way. Marcus married Olivia last spring. Jessica showed me the wedding photos. He looked genuinely happy. I wasn't invited, obviously. I spent that day working a double shift and came home exhausted. But I didn't cry. Maybe that was its own kind of growth. I've been single for 2 years now. I went on a few dates, but I always ended up telling them about my past. Most didn't call back. One man said, I appreciate your honesty, but that's a lot of baggage. He wasn't wrong. My father told me last month that he was proud of how I'd rebuilt my life, even if it looked nothing like what I'd had before. Mom still struggles, but she hugs me now when I visit. Small victories. The truth I live with every day is this. I destroyed my own life for 20 minutes of meaningless sex fueled by pride and stupidity. I hurt someone who loved me, betrayed someone who trusted me, and threw away a blessing I didn't appreciate until it was gone. There's no twist ending where it all worked out. There's no revenge that made me feel better. There's just consequence, acceptance, and the slow, unglamorous work of becoming someone I can stand to see in the mirror. They say confession is good for the soul. I don't know about that, but I do know this. If telling my story stops even one person from making my mistake, then maybe, just maybe, some tiny piece of good can come from the worst decision I ever made. That's all I can hope for now. Enda.